Hey! Let's hit it. Mess. It's a mess, guys, dude. It's a mess. Sorry, guys, man. It's been kind of weird trying to deal with this new program that we're working with here. So apologize for that, guys. But glad to get you guys on here. By the way, I'm just going to pull in our guest right now, Coach Defense. He's hanging out in the back, the green room right now. So he's got all the snacks, everything in back there. But let's jump him in here real quick. Love it. Yo, Coach, what up, brother?
What's happening? What's happening, guys?
Hanging in there, man. We're trying to squeeze ourselves into this little box here.
Right.
Here we go.
Just stand one behind the other like stepbrothers.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. That's better. That's better.
That'll work. That'll work.
Glad to get you on, my friend, man. Always good to chat with you, man. Always talk to the fellow Bolt Bro over here, my man. So glad to be able to get you on the pod today, man. So, week 18, that's a wrap. That's a wrap.
It is. It's definitely a wrap. It didn't go the way I thought I wanted it to go, but I mean, Mike Williams going down. I'm still crossing my fingers that it's not
huge.
It's not huge, but yeah, that was rough. And I've seen our fellow Chargers compadres on Twitter already going crazy, saying we should have sat the starters and we should have did this and we should have did that. Everybody playing sideline coach, but if you look at it from the grand scheme of things, most people that have something to play for today or just wanted to kind of keep their momentum going, they all played their starters. Most people, I think the Bengals had a few players go down and, in a bunch of other different games. So it happens. I mean, it's part of the game. It's part of the game. So you can't, browbeat Staley for leaving Mike in because he got hurt early in the game. It wasn't even like, it was like the fourth quarter of meaningless football where he shouldn't have been out there kind of thing. So, hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed that he's not hurt, long term, but it's definitely a blow to our offense.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, but but at the end of the day, man, hey, look, we kept the starters in, they got the wiggles out, they did their thing. I will say this though, if Herbert was in for the whole game, we would have won that game, no problem.
I believe that. I do believe that as well.
But it is what it is, man. It doesn't really matter anymore at this point. But, bottom line, guys, hey, we're in the playoffs, right? It's on the Jags. And we are probably going to get UFC Jaguar probably hop on our podcast at some point. We probably get a chat with you. You might even hop in today, so it'd be interesting to see.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, UFC Jag probably show up. So, but hey, Coach, why don't you tell everybody about your podcast real quick?
Yep.
Give them a little shout out, a little love, and then then we can go into some of the stats and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I'm part of the Lockdown Divas podcast network on YouTube. Lockdown Divas podcast. So you search in this, so you just type that in, it'll come up for you. Weekly shows we run for general sports news for NBA and NFL. Of course, being a Lakers and Chargers fan, I kind of throw my shots in as far as I can cover our teams as much as possible. But I do that on Tuesdays. I have a new show debuting actually this coming week called the 30-Minute Lockdown.
Nice.
It's going to be a 30-minute show each and every week that's going to break down topics of NBA and NFL, and it's going to be 30 minutes only. So it's going to be quick in and out segments. So because I've noticed that people are loving and digging the quick content. So we're going to do that starting this Thursday. So I'm going to break that out this weekend. And as always, I'm on every Wednesday with the Wild Wild West podcast, the FC West podcast on Wednesdays at 7:30. Set all the broadcasts on my channel. So like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And we'll be there giving you gritty, real, and unfiltered content that is sports talk.
Most definitely, man.
You're working with Rich too, boy. He's a handful.
Yeah,
handful.
Yeah, you know that.
I mean? I love Rich. I love Rich. It was good having him on too. I thought that I love having a conversation with him.
Yeah, that's a passionate Broncos fan there for you. That's it.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I love it. Well, that's good. Okay, so I guess we can talk about the game now. We should go into some stats, kind of see what we think about that as well. I know we
or the off-road.
But
the GMC
it's so frustrating the way
premium.
Look,
capable.
I'll be honest with you, man. Like I think bottom
from
line, it was a little frustrating the way we played and the way I think we played all right, but we didn't play great either too. You know what I mean? So, what were your general thoughts, Coach, first, and then we'll kind of go into some of the stats.
Well, I think that offense was not the issue today. I think the defense kind of had a little bit shaky bumps and bruises going throughout the game. I mean, of course, the Eckler fumble and the DeAndre Carter fumble didn't help at all. And I think that they got a score off the Carter fumble, but I don't think
my new collection celebrates the light, airy feeling of spring.
Yes, it's going crazy on you.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that those two things didn't help, but I think that what was the backbreaker for me is the end of the half. You can't give up that touchdown to the Broncos. That long catch to Judy at the end of the half, and then the subsequent walk-in touchdown. So I think it was Swain that caught the pass. So that part you can't let that happen. I mean, regardless of what you're playing for, not playing for, those coverage breakdowns just can't happen. Especially with only 26 seconds left in the half, you can't have that happen. And that kind of gives me pause. And how Divas has been playing the last couple of weeks.
It's kind of weird, because it's well, wait a second, why do we not care? And maybe they thought, whatever, we got the 5th seed locked up, what does it even matter? But that's still lame, right? You just still got to play the game and look good, right? I mean, at the end of the day, these are professional players, right? They need to show that they deserve a contract, And by the way, I'm still annoyed about that roughing the passer penalty that Ja Taylor got on Russell
game.
Wilson. I was like, are you joking me? What do you expect this guy to do, dude? He literally came to him and how is that even roughing the passer? I don't even.
NFL protects quarterbacks like crazy.
I mean,
that's indicative. That's indicative of how the league has been officiating it all year. So I'm not even shocked by it. That's the sad part about it. I'm not even shocked. I should be, but I'm not.
Yeah. Okay. And I was just joking with James. Remember that sack that Mac had last week? He literally got the guy, and then he made him land on his body. He brought him down like this. I'm like, kidding me? Is that how we're sacking people now? Dude? Come on, man. And it was just annoying to me. So I couldn't believe it.
Hey, one thing I was going to point out too for you, Coach, because you were chatting about it already about how basically we only have kind of had to play our starters pretty much for the most part. And Daniel Wade from Locked On Chargers, he basically tweeted out saying that Brandon Staley said in the post game. Brandon Staley said that one of the reasons why he played these starters is because you only have so many players to go in with. And only 2 practice squad elevations for this game, by the way.
Oh, interesting.
And so says other playoff teams had to play their best players as well, just to your exact point. basically we only had a certain amount of players to be able to throw out there. And our D-line has been pretty thin throughout most of the season. And you started seeing a lot of these guys like Moa out there and all these other guys on our D-line trying to make things happen. So it was kind of really just a point that, we all had to do it as, the NFL and playoff teams. So we only had so many players that we could throw out there. So it sucks. And, once again, guys, injuries do happen, and that's kind of what it is. And I think that's just something we had to just deal with, and every team had to deal with in the NFL.
It was good seeing Mo out there, though. I was kind of excited to see him. I remember him from college. He did a good job in college. So
that's a big guy. That's a big run stopping body that we picked up. I definitely wanted to see what he had in regards into the run game. But overall, like I said, I mean, we are getting healthier, but we still had a rash of injuries that people aren't coming back. Like I said, Otito, getting hurt, Austin Johnson getting hurt. Those two big cogs in on the D line, for sure that there was going to be out there in that regard. So, having, they're probably the deepest room we have right now is DBs, outside of that, because I think the wide receiver room is light. I think running back and DB is probably the deepest rooms we have across the board in the whole entire team, if you top to bottom. So, like you said, to your point, we had to play some starters that we didn't really intend on playing as long as they did. But if you watch the game, you kind of see them, taking guys out for a play or two or series, putting them back in, Keenan Allen having to play because we only have, 5 receivers on the active roster, and Mike Williams going down, which didn't allow for us to be able to play with Sick Keenan in the back stretch of that game, and ironically he catches a touchdown. So it's one of those things where it's just the ebbs and flows of football, like you guys said. You have to honestly and truly take it for what it is, and we are still blessed to not have coming out with traumatic injuries from this game, outside of hopefully praying for Mike that he isn't drastically hurt.
That's my concern.
Yeah, so I mean, let's say if Derwin James went down in this game, how bad we would be feeling right now from a defense perspective, that kind of thing. So, again, it's football. It's a game where is that you're not win if you're going to get hurt, it's win. So you kind of have to hedge your bet in that situation. So, I think overall, we should be okay down the stretch, but we just have to be able to right the wrongs and mistakes that we had this week. Because like I alluded to earlier, the whole idea of us playing defense the last couple of weeks was kind of porous. In the first half of the Rams game was pretty bad. And then the second half, they tightened it up a little bit. But the whole entire game for this Denver game, even though we were mixing and matching and playing guys here and there, it was coverage-wise, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Russell Wilson, we didn't see Russell Wilson throw the ball like that outside of that one Chiefs game all year. So
it felt like they weren't communicating well, right? And I think that's probably what I would say, right? Because it felt like especially the safety play, right? They weren't communicating to who was doing what or what was going where or who was doing anything, right? And it's just like, what's happening here, right? So. And they got nothing to lose, man. So they just tossed the ball up in the air. And, man, I felt like a few of those. I thought, man, that's going to be an interception. I'm like, oh, my God, there's nobody back there. I'm like, what the hell happened, It was
receivers running free.
Yep, exactly. And, again, he didn't have a great rating. I mean, his rating was he was 118, which, okay, he was 13 for 24, which is not great as far as efficiency. But, again, he had those deep passes, right? 3 TDs, 1 interception.
Yep.
So, we made Russell Wilson look pretty good, which is kind of embarrassing because he sucks.
Well, and the crazy part of it is that Russell Wilson's had 2 games now back-to-back that he's gotten 3 touchdowns to 1 pick. So so he's kind of cooking at the wrong time.
He's cooking.
He's been mostly getting takeout most of the year, by the way.
Exactly.
So, new coach changed it up a little bit, and I think they just let Russell be Russell. And I think that's a big difference here. One stat I wanted to point out here is that we only gave up 1 sack in this game, too. Yeah. And this is the second week in a row that we've only given up 1 sack. So that's very, very good.
Line looked good, in my opinion. I was impressed with the defense, the line play, right? I felt like Herbert had a pretty nice pocket to work from. I think he looked great. I mean, look, he looked fine. I mean, like I said, I think we would have. He would easily have had 1 more touchdown if he had stayed in. But I think stats-wise looked pretty good. Didn't run the ball great, but that's kind of to be expected with Denver. They got a pretty good front.
They have a very stout run defense. I have to give them credit for that. They've been like that all year.
Yep, for sure, man. And guys, throw out your questions, right? If you got some questions, throw them out there. I know a lot of people are piling in right now, so just keep throwing questions out. Love to see what you guys think and what your thoughts are. And we got a bunch of people in Jags. Okay, it's gonna be
we see him.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, guys. I mean, it's gonna be an opportunity for us to get some payback.
Yeah, because if one of the two teams that really throttled us this year was the Jags and the Seahawks, so it'd be definitely get some good retribution for that game. But so let me ask you guys a question real quick. Do you feel like had the Ravens won and we had something to play for, we might have had a better effort going into this game?
I
agree as well. I definitely agree as well.
I just don't feel like we cared. I mean, I think once they saw that, they're like, all right, let's make sure people get out of here. And actually, I would say that as soon as Williams went down, immediately you started seeing all the starters getting rolled out. Yeah, they just started getting all rolled out. It's like, okay, we're done. Let's back off and rotate as many people out as possible. Yep. And I just think they didn't care at that point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the whole thing about this, and we wanted to be able to come out of this pretty healthy. I mean, the thing is, though, Joey did have kind of a little bit of a nagging thing, I think, with his groin. Kenneth Murray came out too with a stinger too. I mean, obviously Williams, we all saw that. He looked like he was walking around like an old man with a bad back for a while. It's kind of scary to see that, but it sucks to be able to have something like that happen. But once again, there is injuries that always happen every single game. Now, we just hope that he could be ready for the playoffs. Yeah. Now, I'll just say as a positive, Keenan made some awesome catches, 2 touchdowns, 102 yards.
He really looked like himself today. I definitely like that.
It was so good, dude. And I was like, damn, man. And he had yards after catch, which I thought was great, too.
Yeah, lots of yak. And that's what we needed to see from him. It's been great.
Oh, man. He still doesn't block right downfield, in my opinion, but I think he's much better than that. But did DC get his bonus? We were talking about his bonuses, right?
He got his catch bonus of $100K for this game. So he got $100K. He missed the yards bonus of $100K by about 10 yards. Bummer to see that. And he had obviously a couple opportunities to do that too. Everett got close to his $250K bonus for catches. And he missed that, I think, by 3 catches. He did drop 1, maybe 2 catches, I think.
I know he will drop one clear first down in middle of the game.
That one broke my heart. I was like, yo.
That hurt real bad.
And then he had that fumble, too, which was like horrible. So.
Yeah.
So kind of frustrating to see that. But at the same side, heck, I'm just excited that we're going to the playoffs from this point on. And we're excited to be able to see this going. Now, I'm going to point out one thing about this game. I mean, Russell Wilson did drop, 283 on us, which is more yards than we've ever given for the last 4 weeks, I believe. By quite a bit. We've been giving up about 240-something yards a game on average total. So we really got a lot dumped on us with another 205 yards on rushing. Now, once again, I'll go back on it too. I think we were really just thinking, hey, next game. That's all we were thinking about here at this point, guys.
I would agree with that a tad, but also just the effort. I mean, again, I'm a former football player, a coach, and I know effort and I know desire when I see it, and then when I don't see it. So the effort in the run game, if you take the effort that we got from the Titans game, hypothetically, right? Let's take the Titans game and the effort they laid into the Titans as far as stopping the run versus the effort we've gotten the last 2 weeks. It hadn't been there. Like, we kind of reverted back to the run defense that we had at the beginning of the season. So I just think they need to, close the ranks in again, have another team meeting, whatever you need to do, to tighten up that run game, because I think that the Jaguars was going to key on that come next week, and they're going to try to run the ball out with ETN early just to make sure Trevor Lawrence is comfortable. So if we can't stop that, then it's going to be a dogfight.
Sure. So I will say this too, and I watched an article, but no, it was an interview about Trevor Lawrence and how they were 3-7, and then their head. Why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Doug Peterson.
Peterson, yeah, I keep thinking something else. He came in and said, "Hey, it's going to come down to week 18," and which I thought was really interesting. And he was like, "No," and he was stressed out. He's like, "Look, we got to get better." And they were 3-7 at that point. And then he said he sat down and focused. He's like, I got to be better for my team, right? So here's the thing. He's a young quarterback, right? I will say this. I do think that Herbert will be less rattled than Lawrence. Lawrence seems like he's going to be a little more like, I'm nervous, I'm in the playoffs. I just feel like he's going to have a harder time controlling his emotions like Herbert. I think Herbert is going to be a little more
very even keel.
Because that's the thing about Herbert, right? That's actually why I think Herbert's so good is he doesn't
he's always even keeled. Yeah.
And that's exactly why Phil Rivers he struggled in the playoffs, man. He could not make it happen. He could not make it. He couldn't control his emotions, right? That's a big part of this game, I think, or any game specifically, is you can't just let your emotions run wild because you don't perform your best. So, yeah.
You know, and the one thing that we were chatting, and we went out to the backyards in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Good times
just hang out with some Chargers fans there, watch the game. Obviously, we're kind of just hanging out, eating food, all that kind of stuff. And the one thing that we chatted about it is with the Jags, they're an extremely young team. They have a head coach that has won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
They definitely have a leg up for us on that.
Mm-hmm.
But the big thing that they don't have is players on that team that have won Super Bowls to teach the players and tell the players, hey, like how to step up. Now, I'm going to give a massive shout out to Kyle Van Noy. 5 games in a row now where he's got the sack.
Yeah.
He basically had that strip in this game, which basically Bash got that, which he looked like he was going to take that interception to the house, or basically that fumble.
He was ready.
He was ready to go. Bash wanted to take that to the house.
Right.
And, but big shout out to Kyle Van Noy. Like Kyle Van Noy is a big leader on this team, and I'm grateful that he jumped into this role for this team when it was critical. It was basically from the Raiders game on. He took that role, and he's done a great job with that. And obviously, shout out to Khalil Mack for doing the dinners and everything too for the team. So we got leaders on this team that are trying to make this team better and elevate them, and guys that have done it before. They've won Super Bowls, and that's a big leg up on the sense for us versus them. So I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on that too, Coach.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I actually would argue the idea that because the Jags are a very young team. I mean, they are a really young team. I think that
very young.
They might not even have a person that's been in the playoffs before. If you think about it, so they're because I mean, I think everybody that was on that Jags team from a few years ago with Jalen Ramsey and those guys were on it. They're all gone.
Yep,
they're all gone. So this is a really, really young team. So I would argue that you don't have anybody with any real playoff experience. And conversely to us, we have guys that have not only been in the playoffs, but they've gone really deep into the playoffs. So that we get that experience from them in that leadership, and we kind of lean on them exactly to know what to do, what not to do, how playoff football is going to be. Going into the first round of the playoffs. So I think that would definitely give us an edge, and we're all playing on the road. What I did notice about the Jags in that Titans game is that they were really maligned offensively in the second half. So I think that if we can capitalize on that in the fact that they, kind of had the big game jitters, because that game kind of felt like a playoff game, when they played against Titans, because when they get in. So, if they're going to have that type of output in the playoffs, that should give us the advantage, in all honesty. Just from a production perspective. I think that, to your guys' point, I think Justin Herbert's going to be even killed no matter what situation he's in. And I think that's a really good superlative that we can benefit from, going forward from, years and years and years that he's going to be our quarterback. So I think that he's not going to be nervous. We played this team before. We know what happened. We should be angry about the drubbing that they gave us earlier in the season. So we have extra motivation, and we don't have the nervousness and the tension that they may have. So I really feel like that we have the ability to beat this team, pretty handily, but we just got to take care of business, though.
We do. And again, we need to bring our best, right? And again, to Rich's point here, how much is the effort today concerning you guys for playoff game one? Like, I'll tell you what, like, I didn't see a team that was ready to play, right? I felt like I saw a team that was like, all right, we're going to ho-hum through this. We'll just get through it, right? And let's not get injured. It felt like a preseason game. That's what it felt like. Yeah. That's what I would say. It felt like a preseason game. We're getting the wiggles out, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But that bothers me to some degree. But I will say this, at least, again, barring Williams' injury, right? At least we're not at that stage where we're stressed out, like we got a broken leg for Keenan Allen or Herbert or something like that, right? I mean, it would be a huge loss if we lose him. But at the end of the day, it's a concern, but But I think you're right. I think what's going to start happening is I think Kyle Van Noy, Mac, these guys are going to get together and they're going to have some real simple, player meetings that they're going to be intense. They're going to be intense. So I'm excited to see that. Right? We'll see how that plays out. Yeah,
Keenan Allen is a playoff component person. He was in he was on a 2018 team that made the playoffs, so he knows. And they went into the divisional round, so he knows what it's like about playoff football as well. So
agreed.
He knows what it's like to win a game. So we can lean on him as well from the offense perspective.
Look at Rich, dude. Yeah. Hey, the Wiggles, bro. Come on. What you talking about? Hey, Hey, we all got the wiggles, dude. You got to get out there. You got to move right. You got to move your body, bro. Come on now. Come on. You can't sit there. You got the wiggles. You got to get out there and move. You know.
Look at this guy. He's hitting you on your shirt now too. Poor showing on the shirt. Oh man.
Come on. Hey, these are jerseys, man. Come on.
Listen, you can never go wrong with the powder blues. He's just hating.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
And then
Just throw back LTs.
Throw back LTs.
Exactly.
Come on now.
No doubt, man.
Exactly.
Best unis in the league, right, Rich?
No
doubt.
Ain't nobody like the Bronco uniform.
Right. It's okay. It's okay.
Rich knows what I'm talking about.
One thing I was going to point out too about this game, and I was bringing up, say, that stat of getting players bonuses basically.
Yeah, big time.
So like Everett had ability to make a bonus. Also, DeAndre Carter had the ability to get bonuses, but also it was also stats too to be able to break records and such too. So like for instance, here's one of them right here, where it was Justin Herbert basically getting up to his 101 touchdowns for his career in the first 3 years of his career. So he basically broke the record for 101 touchdowns, total touchdowns in 3 years.
Sick.
So he has now officially done that. And so there was kind of a level of like they wanted him to go out there to break records, make things happen like this and everything too. So I kind of felt like that's kind of what the key was to this game, almost in Brandon Staley's, mentality. I think he wanted to find ways. Once again, I'm going to show you guys that one too. But this is another one.
I'll show you guys that one too. I'm going to hit you that one later.
Yeah, I'll hit with you on it later on that one. That's a great one. But I think there's a lot of people already in the chat chatting about this stuff. So this is another one here too. We have 6 players, second team in the NFL history to be able to get 500 receiving yards.
So
6
sick.
players. So that's incredible.
That was by necessity with all the injuries, but I'll take it.
But it just goes to show you what our offense is, though, right? And again, you guys know I'm really not love Lombardi 100%, right? But this is exactly the offense that we are running, right? It's spread.
Yep.
And whoever's open, basically, it's like you're basically trying to get a man. You're not getting anybody double covered. They have to man you up. You got to break that coverage. Now, and my point is, whoever gets open gets the ball, and that's exactly what I promise you is being said about every single wide receiver.
Yep.
But my point is, this is again my argument was when Lombardi was out there, when we had Williams and Allen out, all of our injuries. The problem is those guys weren't getting open. Bandy wasn't getting open. Yeah, everybody else was not getting open. That's why we struggled, right? So. So again, it's feast or famine when you have the right players out there, but when you don't have the right players, you start really struggling, and that's kind of my point. But hey, and that's why I always hated having when Drew Brees was on the Saints. I hated having wide receivers in my fantasy league because you never could tell who was going to get the ball because it was always spread all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's
much like the Chiefs with this year, you never could focus on a Chiefs receiver in fantasy because you never know who's going to get the ball week to week. Nobody was ever dominating that offense outside of Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce was the only guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Hey, one other stat that in this too, Austin Eckler now is the all-time catch leader of 107.
I saw that. I think by one, right? He 106 to 105.
Yeah,
Absolutely sick. So wild to be able to see that. And once again, a running back, and I was thinking in LT years, didn't he have a 100 catch season, I believe, back in the mid 2000s too? I want to say that he did that too, but it's incredible to see what Austin Eckler has done. Now, once again, criminal that he's not in the All-Star game or basically the Pro Bowl, I should say.
Whatever they call it nowadays, right?
Whatever it's called. Flag football match, basically.
How do you have the most touchdowns as a running back and not being a Pro Bowl? That makes no sense to me. But
it's garbage. It's garbage.
Not a clue.
But I did a video on this when the Athletic ranked all the – was it the Athletic? Yeah, it was the Athletic. Yeah. Preseason, they ranked all the running backs. Eckler was not in top 10. But my argument was that he's not really a running back, right? He's more like a Deebo Samuel type of guy, right? Yep. He is a running back. We all know that. Yeah, but 100%. My point is he's not like, a power back.
True back.
A true back. Yeah. And I could kind of understand that argument, but damn, he should still be there, though. He should still be there.
100%.
Yeah, I agree. Just as a positional player, like, I guess because you rank him in the AFC, I guess you have Chubb, you have Damian Pierce got hurt, but he was up there at one point. It was Chubb. Who was the other two guys that made the Pro Bowl ahead of him? I'm trying to remember. I'm drawing a blank here. It was Chubb.
UFC Jag.
What's up, USC Jag? Good to see you, brother. Yep, we
Yeah,
got to
look
get you
that
on the
up.
pod this week.
We got to get you on, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it was Chubb and
Yeah.
gosh,
Who was the second and third one?
AFC backs. Let's see. I'm taking a running. Man, I can't remember, man. You know, it's funny.
I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, I'm not sure who it was, to be honest with you.
You know, it's funny about that, though. I always kind of think about it. Like, I mean, at least this season, I'm like, I don't really care because.
Oh, Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry. That's what it was. Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry. Yes, there it is.
Jonathan Taylor. That's kind of a strange one.
Yeah, we got Mixon too, which is good. Yeah, that makes sense. See, but that's my point, right? Those guys are actual running backs, right? See, and I've always believed that Eckler is really not an actual running back, right? You know, and so, yeah.
You can kind of throw him and Christian McCaffrey into that same role. Like, they have that same type of, role they play in their offense where they're just an athlete, you know. So you just give them the ball any way you possibly can.
Let me ask you a question. What if we have JK come back? We got Spiller. You convert Austin Eckler to more like a slot wide receiver. See, to me, that can make some sense, right? Or some sort of like crackback, you know, like use him more like a Deebo Samuel type of thing too. I mean, that kind of makes sense. It would you know, lengthen his career for sure. So.
Yeah, I agree. I would leave him as a running back by position because that's his stature would, you know, fits the bill of being a running back. But I would use him more so. It's kind of a clue and it kind of a key for defense to kind of play up on. But the idea of him, you know, being in the slot or you just break, leaking him out the backfield in certain formations and certain things that you want to be able to utilize him as a secondary weapon. So if you line him up outside, he'll probably draw more cornerbacks trying to cover him. But as a running back, you have a natural mismatch because most linebackers and safeties will try to cover running backs out of the backfield. So you get a natural mismatch with him coming into the backfield, out of the backfield as a running back. So I would leave him there, but to your point, I would utilize him more so in the pass game and let JK and Spiller more so run the ball in early downs. I would definitely do that, you know, because even if you want to go split backs, you know, put JK and him in the backfield together, and you really don't know who's going to get the ball.
Yeah, see, and I actually love that idea. I talked about that all season. Yeah. Why are we not running two running back sets? I don't get it. Yeah. The Jags do. They do quite a bit.
Take a page out of the 49ers book, what they do with Elijah Mitchell and McCaffrey. So, I would take a page out of that book and do that as well.
See, I don't understand why we don't do it. It just bothers me. It's like, oh, come on, man. Like I feel like that's an easy win, right? Because we got so many running backs. Get our playmakers on the field, man, for sure. I mean, it's kind of dumb. Anyhow, so pull up that other meme, that little clown one. That one's pretty funny, dude. We'll talk about this one. It's pretty funny, dude, because we got this other meme that's pretty good too. But throw your questions out, guys, for sure, man. Like I want to see your thoughts, your questions. We'll go from there. So, yeah, this is pretty good too.
This is the fans. This is the fans all season, dude. All season. Yeah, you got that makeup, that first base going on your face.
Yeah.
The offense blows. Fire Lombardi. Oh.
All right, the defense trash. Fire Stanley. I'm done. Fire Telesco. Hire Sean Payton, the new GM. Playoffs, baby. I'm here. Believe.
But guys, that's a Charger fan right there. That's
it is.
Perfect example, correct, right?
Perfect example. Top to bottom. You don't have to be in the UK to know that's the truth. Like, if you're on Chargers Twitter at all, did you realize that Chargers Twitter was trending this week? Did y'all notice that?
Man.
Chargers Twitter was trending this week, for those that don't know. But that's the ebbs and flows of Chargers Twitter. Sometimes you got to take it with a grain of salt because people, you know, when you get those knee-jerk reactions, their first moment reaction, they're just emotional. So, you know, because I love to see tweets from guys, especially guys that follow for a long time, that you'll see the tweet on Sunday, right? They'll say something really emotional and really off the wall, right? And they say, well, I had a little moment to think about it, and they rest on it Sunday night and come back Monday morning. They got a way different take on it. So I just love to see the Monday morning tweets versus the Sunday night tweets. So it's hilarious.
Winning cures all generally.
It really is.
That's pretty much it. And last week, I mean, we scored a lot of points. I mean, this week we still scored 27. Actually, it's kind of interesting. We gave up more than 27 points, and Justin Herbert now is 18-5 our defense, basically, if you give up 27 points, he's 18-4. Up till today, basically, we gave up 31 or whatever it is. So now we're 18-5 under Justin Herbert. Now, that's a great record, by the way. And once again, there was that element that we felt like this is kind of more of a preseason game. We were even chatting about it at the restaurant and everything, and we're just kind of like, yeah, you know, we lose, whatever. I personally feel like it would have been good to keep the momentum of winning going.
That's my thing. That's my thing. Because football is a confidence and a momentum game.
Huge.
You know, especially in the NFL. So when you have you constantly rolling, because we had a really good week last week. So I really wanted to build on that this week and take that into the playoffs, and that would make our offense, that much more explosive from my perspective. So I really wish we'd have kind of went in with that mindset that we should want to win their game regardless, and just put forth that effort from top to bottom to win that game. So we just have the momentum. And 11-6 looks a lot better than 10-7 to me. That's just me.
Big time.
I would have much more liked to go on 11-6. But despite all the drama we've had, all the injuries and the woes we've had all year, 11-6 would have been a really good feather in the cap.
And that's the whole thing about this, man. Yeah. Brandon Staley and the coaching staff, regardless of how you hate him or how you like him or whatever, the guy has basically righted the ship. We've gotten to the playoffs. We got into the playoffs on our terms, by the way.
True. You didn't need no help. You didn't need no help. Yep.
Dude, just the thing, like the Steelers. Once again, Mike Tomlin's one of the best coaches in the NFL, by the way. He has not had a losing season at all since he's been a head coach. Stud. But they had to have a couple teams in front of them find a way to lose. And guess what? The Dolphins found a way to beat the Jets. Just
by a small margin, but yes.
Crazy small margin. So it's just, you hate going into the last week of the season and being like, cool, we won. We did our job. Oh, well, still, that's the end of the season, guys, because this other team didn't do what we needed them to do, basically. And so
that's a good point, because the game is going on right now. Actually, it's going on right now. The Lions and Packers game. The Lions are eliminated already before that game started. So by Seattle winning, so the only thing they can do is spoil the Packers season for them. So the Packers win their end, but if the Packers lose hypothetically, then the Seahawks are in. So how do you treat that mindset wise? Like, we can't get in no matter what, but do we spoil them, or do we play hard? Do we not? I mean, that's the dicey situation.
It's a funny thing about that, because the Lions as a franchise, we all know it's like they have not done a whole heck of a lot in a very long time. Very long time. And, it's interesting because I have some buddies that are obviously opposition fans or whatever. And I say, hey, like, look, my goal, in my opinion, is we got to find a way to get Justin Herbert in the playoffs. That's a big goal that we have got to do. And they're like, well, that sounds like you guys are just trying to get the minimum and you're not trying to look at the big goal and everything like that as a Chargers fan base. And I'm like, well, I get it. But at the same side, the Lions, they have actually had a really good season. They had a great second half, and they have something to build on with their coaching staff and their players. There's something shifting in that organization.
Agreed.
Even if they go and say and they win this game or whatnot, that's a successful season for the Lions right now.
It is. Big time.
And they got some great pieces over there. Williams with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Goff had a very good year, which I've always written him off for a very long time. Defensively, they started tightening things up just a little bit when they got rid of their cornerback coach, I believe it was, kind of in mid-season or whatnot. They're starting to create a better environment now. Once again, the Lions are the Lions. But, hey, next year, it could be a completely different season for them. I mean, that division is not super, super strong. I mean, Vikings.
It's not, and it's getting weaker because, again, the Vikings are a very offensively dominant team. They can't stop anybody defensively at all. And another great point about the trade that they made with Stafford, they got another top 10 pick. I believe it's top 5.
They can build a lot of talent.
They can definitely load up a talent around Goff in the current deal he's on. I think that, and even let's say hypothetically they want to take a quarterback with that pick and groom him for the future, they could do that. And they only have 2 years left on Goff's contract.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
they can let him sit behind Goff and have utilize the talent that they have now, and they could be setting themselves up to be that perennial wild card-ish team. Assuming whatever the Packers do with Aaron Rodgers or whatever the Vikings do with Kirk Cousins, but I think they can be right there next year, and I think they can start the season off much better than they did this year. And I do believe Dan Campbell is a winning coach. I guess you could say a winning hire. I'm gonna call it winning hire.
Winning hire.
He's really good. He's really good for the culture there.
Yep.
It's been hard for him.
It's wild.
So let's talk about Cade's question here. So get a real running back like a Kenneth Walker. Look, here's the thing. That offense doesn't really need a really good running back, in my opinion. It's a nice thing to have, but when you got a quarterback like Justin Herbert, you're really going to throw the ball more than run the ball anyways. Right now, I would say maybe in a couple of years you might want to get a running back like that. Now, it doesn't mean you wouldn't get a guy, but what we have is enough. It's enough. It's not what we want, but it's enough, right? And I mean, you see how many attempts that we threw? We threw it 33 times, something like that this game. Yeah. No, I said no. Sorry, it's like 30 almost 40 times because Daniels came in and threw a few
Right.
times.
Mhm.
So, but my point is this, right? That this offense is not predicated on running the ball as much as we want it to. So again, someone like an Eckler, someone like these guys. I mean, really, these check down passes, that's pretty much a running play anyways, right? So it is what it is. And Aether, I don't see your question, so maybe throw it back out there as well. You keep saying you want us to answer your question. I don't see it in the chat. So maybe throw it back out there again as well, too, just so you know. And guys, throw your questions out as well, too, if you have some thoughts, things you want us to specifically speak on.
Yeah.
I'd like to chime in on Kay's question. I think that and this is a couple of things I've been noticing about the Chargers team. This is, minus Rashad Slater coming back, but I like what Lombardi's been trying to do in the past 4 to 5 weeks as far as establishing some power running in the offense, pulling and moving guards around, doing a lot of trapping and things of that nature.
I like that.
So because I've been saying that I feel like Zion Johnson and Jamari Solly are power run
Big time.
linemen. So for him utilizing that, and I think even still based upon Kay's question, I still think that Spiller and Joshua Kelly can get that done because Joshua Kelly put him some weight in the offseason. So I think he's more suited, more built for that particular aspect of our offense, and we can kind of do both. I think we can still utilize the short and intermediate and long passing game. We still need some speed at receiver. I'm gonna holler that until we do it. But I feel like that if we wanted to be a power run team in certain stretches based upon our matchups, I think we can do that. One and two, I think that we have enough in our running back room already to get it done between the three of Eckler, Kelly, and Spiller. So I really feel like that's one of those things where we don't necessarily need to spend any high draft capital to get another one because I feel like we have it in the room by committee.
Yeah, agreed.
I agree with that. Now, this is a great question. What do you feel like we learned from heading into the Jags this next week? Now, I'm going to first say this. You got to jam people to the line because the Jags, I did a video on this, death by 1,000 cuts. There was this one drive. It was like damn near 25 plays. They just dinked and dunked us the whole damn. They beat the hell out of us. Like they just shoot us up. So you need to get physical with these guys on the line. Jam them, move them out of the way. Don't let because here's the thing. I truly believe though, Lawrence is going to be a little. He'll get timid. He'll get nervous. Get in his face. You got Bosa, you got Mac, and we got Foxy. Look, I think these guys are going to do well. Get some pressure in his face. I think we'll be fine. But I'll say that you cannot let these guys run free. And man, you got to get physical. We got to get physical with these guys for sure. That's one thing I would say.
Yeah. Well, and the one big thing, and I looked over a little bit of the Jags game too, just because once again, I'm going to say week 3 team was way different than week 18 team for both of us.
Yeah, for both.
We were hurt too.
Great
Like,
point.
Herbert was hurt.
Both teams. Yep.
Everyone was hurt. Yeah. Everyone, I mean, it's not even the same team at all at this point, right?
But the big thing about that game is the Jags controlled the ball. The time of possession for them was forever. And once again, those small little dink and dunks, long drives, just like the drive that Andrew was talking about, dominated. I mean, it's very hard when you only have the ball for 20. I think it was 22 minutes, basically, is what we had.
That's a very short time in a football game.
Very short time to try to make something happen, guys.
Just shoot us up.
Herbert was injured. Bosa was out of that game. I think Allen or Williams, either one of those two.
I think we only had Mike Williams that game because Keenan was already hurt. He got hurt in the second game.
That's right. So he was gone. Slater, I think, was that same game that didn't he get injured in that one too?
He did. Yeah, in race, I remember that. Yep.
And Guyton blew out his knee in that one late too.
Yep.
It was just
like late fourth quarter. Like, what was the point of him even being out there?
You know what I really think that Guyton and J.C. Jackson got hurt in the same corner of the end zone in SoFi. Did y'all realize that?
I want to say that. Yeah, it was the same corner. Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, it was kind of an emotional roller coaster for us in a lot of different ways. You know, these guys going down or whatnot. And once again, going back to the Kyle Van Noy, when he shifted up when we were 6-6, everybody was writing us off at that point. A leader stepped up in the room and basically said, "Hey guys, we're going to take the bull by the horns right now and let's get it going."
Yeah,
man. Big shift, mentality change at that point. So.
Yeah, but I'll say this. When you think about the Jacksonville game in general, this is where I think Kyle Van Noy, Lil Mac, all the veterans are going to step up and say, "Guys, we got to focus differently now at this point. Like, we got to think differently about this game. It's not a normal game.
Oh yeah,
we got to focus." So I'm really curious to see how that plays out. I wouldn't be surprised if they rested a lot of players. I mean, Williams is definitely not going to practice at all, for sure. But I think a lot of these guys, anyone who's remotely banged up, they'll probably let them kind of just chill for a little bit. So I think Aether's question's up there as well too. Keep going. So there we go. So Aether, here's your question. Yeah, so it didn't pop up before. So Okay. Does my coach know for sure we need not playing Saturday? Why everyone was playing past halftime? Really mad. Yeah, I mean, look, we talked about that a little. Actually, you want to answer that question? I know you talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we don't know the schedule or anything yet, but I mean, obviously, it's funny when we were at the restaurant.
Yeah,
we were talking about, well, Jags Chargers game would be a perfect game on 10 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Oh my God! Don't say that. Don't say it.
I would be so pissed off about that.
Yeah,
like, are you for real, dude?
Well, because it's kind of like it's not a premier matchup. It's a 5 and a 4. You know, the Jaguars found a way to be able to win the division. You know, it's just kind of not like one of those premier games, like a Dallas Cowboys game will probably end up being like the premier game, or a Bills. Who Bills are playing? I don't know who they're playing, but
The Dolphins.
Yeah, that's kind of iffy, but it's an AFC East kind of matchup. So you kind of just think that's probably the natural progression of where the Chargers game is going to end up being. It's going to be the first game, early morning kind of thing. Well, I just see that happening basically. So it's kind of interesting, man. But personally, yeah, I don't think that we should have played past the halftime at all with our starters at all. I think we should just got to where we needed to get to. We need to just get our team going, get it moving, take some hits to the body. But once again, Brandon Staley said in the post game, he's like, guys, we only had 2 call-ups that we were able to do from our practice squad. We don't have more than 53 guys plus or whatnot on the squad. We're thin in a lot of different areas. We had to play our starters in some manner. So all the other playoff teams did it too. So, hey, I'm glad we just at least played our guys. I really hope Williams is going to be healthy. I'm pretty positive he's going to find his way on the field. There's no way he's not going to let that happen. He's going to be on the field in some manner. And once again, shout out to Palmer, by the way, on that back end 2-point conversion.
That was so sick.
Yo, he had some ups to get that 2-point conversion. And that kind of, we were just chatting at the restaurant about, we feel like Palmer could be in a weird way, like a Williams substitute for us. Cause he could run routes. He could find a way to be able to get the ball high point too. And he did a great job of getting that catch from Chase Daniels. So shout out to him, by the way.
Yeah, I think he stepped up in a big way. And I think that him being the only healthy receiver we've had from a starting perspective in that middle tier of our games helped his confidence a lot. So I think that him being able to play kind of exclusively outside of Mike Can't Go, that would help him, as far as getting his production and his numbers up. He's not Mike Williams. He can't do the miraculous pirouette catches that Mike can do, but I do think he's a solid guy. I do think he's still a solid guy, and I think that if we move DeAndre Carter into the slot primarily, that will help us. I think that if they play around with the lineups, the matchup, using Parham in certain stretches, using Carter in certain stretches, trying to get different, trying to utilize different matchups, I think we'll be fine. I did just read that they said Mike's X-rays were negative, so that's positive in regard to his back.
I was just going to ask you, if you'd seen anything.
Yeah, so he's definitely X-rays are negative. They're gonna do more tests tomorrow, but he's still having a little ginger walking right now. What he had getting on the bus, they said, but it could be some soreness and things of that nature. Something that could work itself out towards the end of the week, and he could maybe play in a limited role. But I will say this: I really feel like that if we had to be hurt for at least 1 week, this might be the game he can be hurt and we can still be okay. We need to play the Bengals or the Bills or the Chiefs next round. We need all hands on deck.
Yeah, we need everybody.
Yeah,
well, the beautiful thing about this whole thing, and it's lining up where we have kind of a Jags game, could be considered as a revenge game for us. Get our revenge back. Sets up to basically playing against the Chiefs, number 1 seed. Hey, 3rd time's a charm for us, guys. And I mean,
it's hard. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. So
very, very hard. Very hard. So, mathematically, it doesn't make sense that they'll beat us a 3rd time. And so, guys, it's exciting. Now, once again, we're going very much ahead. We got the Jags team.
We're going to put the cart before the horse, but I like my
great.
I mean, they're good, but they didn't look great against the Titans. I was kind of surprised. I kind of expected them to blow the Titans out, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And they kept it close, right? But by the way, so watch party, probably do the backyards again. In Scottsdale, that's where we were with Bolt Pride, AZ.
Yeah, it was Arizona Boat Club.
Oh, Arizona Boat Club.
Yeah.
Arizona Boat Club, yeah.
So we'll probably end up being there, at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Whenever the game is.
Whenever the game is.
I'm hoping, especially since we got to go to the East Coast, I'm hoping that they will give us a break and make it on Sunday, even if it's Sunday early, because
Please.
The Jags already have an advantage because they had to play Saturday already, so they're done.
Exactly.
You have an extra day of rest already. So I'm hoping that they will push us to Sunday just based upon the fact that we got to travel, and the Jags are already they sitting at home already chilling. So
and the Jags are a pretty healthy team too. They've been healthy all damn season.
Exactly. So hopefully they'll put us. Even I'll take the early Sunday window. I just want it to be Sunday. If we can help it.
Please.
Worst case scenario, late Saturday, but definitely early Sunday. If
Ain't nobody wants to go to church. Ain't nobody wants to go to church. We want to watch football. That's what we care about. Come on now.
Right, exactly.
Jesus can wait, guys. Jesus can wait. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't go that far, but the church can wait. Like it'll be there next week. And the week after that. And the week after that. So
oh my gosh.
I'm not gonna tell the Jesus he can wait because that's a whole other conversation. Yeah, I definitely agree the church will be there the week after.
That's right. It'll be another week after.
Still be there.
Still be
church
there.
on the 50-yard line. That's the best type of church, right?
Jeremy, what's up, man? How we doing?
Dude, come to Jacksonville, man. Dude, I was kind of talking about it. I was actually kind of thinking about, man, how cool would it be to be able to go out to Jacksonville there for that game, man? So, hey, it'd be killer if I could go out there and be able to link up with you guys.
Yeah,
that'd be so fun, man. That'd be so fun.
Yeah, maybe we'll see what happens. Let's keep chatting, Jeremy. We'll get in touch with you for sure, man. So hey, who knows? We might be out in Jacksonville for the game. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
How about Bolt Babes? Let's go to this question. Bolt Babes, good to see you guys. Predictions for the playoffs. Okay. What are we thinking, guys? What are we thinking?
Well, of course, Chargers win. No, that's a given.
Win. 4 wins.
We go to Super Bowl, baby. That's all that matters. I mean, I don't care about nothing else.
It's like
listen.
It's a win.
Listen. If you think how unbearable we would be as a group if we made the Super Bowl. Like that's just like about an option that's coming out of this chat in this podcast. It's going to be ridiculous.
Hey, but
just get ready. Buckle up and get ready.
Let's go. Hey, and the Super Bowl's playing here in Arizona too, where we're at right now.
Backyard, man. Backyard.
We already chatted about with the Bolt Pride 602 guys out here too, and they're like, guys, if this Super Bowl's out here, get ready to party, dude. It's gonna be wild out here, guys. So they've already chatted about if people don't have tickets to be able to go to the game, they're gonna set up kind of a booth or basically a party outside of the stadium. You have TVs, barbecue, all that kind of stuff too. I mean, I looked at Super Bowl tickets and I'm like, woo. Yeah,
listen, it's not for the faint of heart.
I was like, I could go to Europe and have like a pretty cool trip for a good amount of time, or go to a 4-quarter Super Bowl. I don't know, man.
Just to be like, if I had to be able to tailgate and be somewhere watching the game in Arizona right next to the stadium, that's fine with me too. I don't have to spend a ridiculous amount of money to get in. It's kind of like a big time boxing match. If you can watch it on a jumbotron right outside the arena, versus have to be in the arena and spend your life savings on on a ticket, hey, it's the same experience to me. I was there. I can say I was there.
Yeah, that's about it. You hear the screaming from the stadium.
There you go.
See all the fans coming outside cheering and everything. Oh man!
And just link up with all the Chargers fans after the fact, and we can just party.
Oh, it would be wild. And once again, the day after the Super Bowl does need to be a national holiday, by the way.
Agreed.
It needs to happen. Make it happen there.
Petition your local government. We need to make that
happen. Please. Oh, man. Here you go, dude. Bold babes. Yeah. Jesus can wait. Jesus can wait.
That's right. Come on, Jesus. Take the back
We're only going to let him use that one. We're not going to repeat that.
I'll get struck by lightning. I don't know. Hey, we got the bolt over there. We got the bolt.
How apropos you get struck by a lightning bolt? How apropos, right?
I'm a true Charger fan. What's up?
There you go. Here lies Andrew. He died by a lightning strike. Go Bolts.
Go Bolts. I love it.
Go Bolts.
Oh, we got Tony in here too, man.
That's awesome. We got Aether saying Chargers versus Chiefs, Bengals versus Bills, Chargers versus Bengals title game. My prediction.
That makes sense, man. That makes sense.
You know, and the way I view it as, and obviously the way it's being laid out right now, it's like revenge game, and then like the young guns taking it in the AFC. Yep. So it's kind of like what's really cool though, man, is actually now it's official.
Well, there's really
we have four 2020 draft quarterbacks in this playoff.
We do.
Burrow, Herbert, and why am I
Tua? Yeah, I'm not sure you'll play, but yeah.
But it's crazy to see that. Like, it's that 2020 draft was like a generational draft for quarterbacks, in my opinion. Very, very much so.
I would say we have to go all the way back to the Aaron Rodgers draft with him and Roethlisberger and those guys. It's just as much talent from a quarterback.
Philip Rivers too.
Philip Rivers, Philip Rivers.
You got that Rapelessberger.
Oh,
you remember Rapelessberger?
Yeah, that was a really good class, though. Definitely a really good class. And who knew Jalen Hurts would be as good as he is right now?
No doubt, man.
No doubt.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. This is good too. This is good.
If we win the Super Bowl, have to have a great attorney. I understand.
But again, by the way, the linebackers, man, one of them came from Utah. Lloyd.
Devin Lloyd.
Devin Lloyd is a baller.
Yeah, he's solid, dude. Like, and look, they really are, right? So. You got to think they're going to key on a running backs big time, right? They're going to be all over Eckler, right? So we'll see what happens, right? But look, I think we're going to try and throw the ball downfield. Now here's the thing. Again, I've been super critical of Lombardi, right? But my point is, maybe we're going to see some wildcat. Maybe we're going to see some of these different wrinkles, different trick plays, right? It's a playoffs, man.
Yep.
You know we're going to try to do something different. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm very curious to see how that plays out specifically against the defense. So
because we got an old Charger in that secondary. Remember Rashad Jenkins?
Yeah, Rashad Jenkins.
And he made a play in the last game, by the way, too.
He did. So we got some comeuppance for him. Hopefully, we kind of key on what we know his weaknesses are.
Yep, no doubt, man. And the thing about it is, man, they have a very young defense. They have a very speedy defense, and I think yes. Once again, the one big issue, and I was actually looking at defensive stats, pass running, and all that stuff too. I think the Jaguars do give up a lot through the air, by the way. Too. So that's kind of going to be a strength for us, but they do great against the run, which, whatever. We don't really run the ball by any means, so that's going to make them look better and everything. But it'll be an interesting one. We'll do a whole video and talk about that too. I'm going to talk a lot about the playoffs later on this week, just kind of the scenarios and things kind of going on and who's playing who and hopefully what to expect, but W's are what we're expecting for. I know we got some haters
W's
in the group already saying I expect pain next week.
Oh wow! So we go back Rocky 3. Rocky 3 reference this.
It's all good, man.
Pain.
No, but look, man. I mean, the good news is, guys, we're healthy. Well, we'll have to see what happens with Williams at this point. But I mean, I would suspect he'll probably be all right. They'll just give him an injection. Here you go. Here's some painkillers. Do your thing. Look, everyone's hurt. But bottom line, this is when it matters, right? And I'll say this, right? Like the good news is, I really do believe that our
look at Alex.
Alex over here trolling. Another guy from your podcast.
Wow West podcast. Yep.
Actually, I ain't seen our boy from the Raiders. What's his name?
Okay.
Jack ain't trolling at all.
Hey,
dude.
How's Jack going these days? Because I jumped in your podcast and I was like, I don't see him. Where's he at?
Well, I think the one you jumped in on, he was actually getting his hair done. So he had a hair appointment he couldn't cancel, so he canceled on that.
No, you just go to Great Clips real quick, get that little change.
I'm gonna give him a hard time. So you get your nails did as well too, bro. What's going on?
Manny, Patty, everything. That's what I thought he was doing. Like the whole nine.
Is that Raider fans? Oh,
had to get the eye black done for the game and all that stuff. You gotta get primped.
Man, he's giving me free material, dude. This is great. This is good
I'm
stuff.
just saying, but he's been at every game practically the last 4 weeks, so he's been traveling a lot. So that's probably why I haven't seen him.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, okay, but he was at the game. He was at the game yesterday. Was it today? Yesterday. Yeah, he was at the game yesterday.
Oh man, that was that. Which game was that? The Raiders. Oh wait. Did they play? No, it wasn't the Niners. Who did the Raiders play?
Yesterday they played the Chiefs. They played the Chiefs yesterday.
Oh yeah, they got rolled. They got rolled. They got rolled.
Yeah, my one buddy, I made a comment to him. I was like, hey man, I was not trying to be a jerk. I was like, hey man, hey, what do you think? You think they're gonna let Josh McDaniels go? Because dude, the Raiders, they're a dumpster fire right now. They totally are.
They can't afford to cut Josh McDaniels from me.
That was my thought too.
Yeah.
But again, think about this. So you got Sean Payton still out there. You don't know that he's really going to go to the Broncos because the Broncos are just about as bad as the Raiders, if not worse.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. What do you think?
The sticking point with Josh McDaniels, that's not Josh McDaniels, but Sean Payton, is that the fact that the Saints won a first-round pick for his rights.
Yep.
So who's willing to pay that? Because I refuse to believe the Chargers are willing.
I think the Raiders would, though. I think the Raiders are stupid enough to do it. They're stupid enough to do it, for sure.
Well, they said the Broncos are in on it. The Broncos didn't balk on that idea, but I know they don't have one this year. Actually, they do. They got a late first round pick. They got in the trade from San Fran, so they got a late first round pick. So they could offer that up and get Peyton services, and he'd be the coach for the Broncos going forward. Which honestly is not a bad move for them. I mean, they keep their defensive coordinator who they have. They retain him unless Peyton brings over Kelly from the Saints that he had on his staff prior, because they could get a new head coach in the offseason. The Saints could move on from Dennis Kelly. So if he brings him over, if he doesn't, keep the DC and let Peyton run the offense and be the head coach, and that's not a bad move for the Broncos.
Yeah. Well, so let's go to Salvator's question. Do you believe that some of the injuries that took place today could cost Staley's job?
No. I think Staley's good.
No, dude, he's our coach. Guys, we are paying him $1 million a year.
That's huge return on your investment.
It really is. I think we would change OCs before we change head coaches. I think Staley has earned the right to be the head coach going forward. And I think the only reason you move on from a guy from like Staley is Sean Payton. And if you don't, then Sean Payton's not available. Then I would definitely say that he can't move on from Staley at this point.
UFC Jag, you get called out, son.
Yeah, $1,000 bet right here, dude.
Oh boy,
Larry,
I bet rack on it. Yo. It's getting hot. It's getting hot. I love it.
It's getting hot. Oh, that's a lot of greenbacks.
That's a lot of lap dances. That's a lot of lap dances. You know what I'm saying? Just saying, I don't know.
Depending on where you go, that dollar can stretch them.
Depends where you go.
Yeah. That's Spearman Rhino. That's a few, but
that's only a couple.
It's only a couple if you go to Spearman Rhino. But
man, I must be on. Jesus got to be upset at me right now.
I know,
comments, man. Boy, I tell
lightning bolt's getting a little hot over there. It's starting to warm up.
I need to do a little praying, guys. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Man. But I'm going to say the thing about Staley, man. Like, there's a bigger thing about him that I think he's just creating a better culture for this organization as a whole. And
agreed.
That's one thing that he said when he came in here. He said, "Hey, look, I want to change this culture. I want to make this a team where people want to pick off my offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, whoever, to make head coaches everywhere else." He wants to create his own tree, his coaching tree. And he's a part of, obviously, the McVay tree. He's been a part of, obviously other systems and such too. But basically, he wants to create his own tree. And so if you guys honestly want to be able to see Lombardi go, the further we go in the playoffs, the hotter these guys' names start going, the more opportunities they're going to get. Yep. And I'm not saying they're going to fire Lombardi or anything like that, but probably if you do extremely well.
Let's say somebody takes him as a head coach, and then we'll all have to get a new OC anyway.
Exactly. And Shane Day would be my guy, in my opinion, the guy who's on the staff already. Or Frank Reich is another guy. What about the Mike McDaniel rumor? They said that he might get fired from the Dolphins. If he gets fired from the Dolphins, remember, we were in on him before as OC. Yeah, bro. Yeah.
That would be sick.
I would be way into that.
It would be. I would definitely be way into that. And I'll be like, would you rather receive in the first round? Giddy up.
Please, a speedy wide receiver down.
Speedy wide receiver in the first and a tight end in the second, and I'm ready to roll. Ready to roll.
Man, I would love to see that. It's interesting to see. And once again, tomorrow's what's it called? Is it called Black Monday or something like that?
I don't like the reference, but it's called Black Monday.
It's a really bad reference. I don't like it either, but it is that one of those days where it's just going to end up being we'll see who gets fired. And there's going to be some candidates out there getting cut. And Mike McDaniel's name was out there for a little while. And I think it was he needed to find a way to get to the playoffs to be able to.
Which is asinine. He's a first-year coach, and he was flying high before his quarterback got hurt. So that's asinine. But again, that's the Dolphins for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I threw out a tweet. I said something to that effect. I said that the only reason I feel like they would fire Mike McDaniel is because they were in on Brady and Sean Payton before they hired McDaniel. Actually, before they hired Flores. So I would say that that's probably the only reason you would fire him is to get Payton and Tom Brady in the building. And then if he's a free agent, then we would take all calls. Taking all calls with Mike McDaniel services, in my opinion, in LA.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah, you got a question here. What's this from Zach? I think what I'm excited about is Herbert's play goes up. The more important the game is, and now he's in the playoffs. So one thing I really, really like about Herbert, I'm going back to his college days. He could have easily came out of the draft in 2019. Yep. Giants fans were like, we are going to get Justin Herbert as our quarterback. Well, they got stuck with Daniel Dimes. And so, sorry, guys.
Wow.
Sorry, guys. And so he stayed for the 2020 because he says, man, we have unfinished business here. I want to get to the Rose Bowl and win the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What did he do when he got to the Rose Bowl? They got there. He took over that game. He had 4 rushing touchdowns in that game. He beat Wisconsin. And the way I view that as is he elevated his game. My goal was to win the Rose Bowl. And my goal was to make that happen and get the team there. That's the thing I'm excited about too, Zach, is that I want him to be able to see that extra level, that X factor of him, that ability to take over a bigger game and to be able to control the outcome of the game. And I really feel that that's one thing that I'm very excited about seeing with Justin Herbert in the playoffs, because I really, truly feel he could easily take this to a whole new level and make Lombardi look very, very good, by the way, too.
That's a great point. And I think collectively, all three of us can ultimately say that our concern is not Justin Herbert in this game. We're completely comfortable being deep into the trenches of the Chargers fan base. We would say we're not concerned at all about Herbert's play in his production in the playoffs. We're not worried about that at all.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, but again, I mean, I'll say this too, guys. I love Phil Rivers. Phil Rivers was an incredible quarterback. But what Justin Herbert has is calmness, right? He doesn't get stressed out. I play softball competitively. Yeah. We play pickleball competitively. James didn't do too great in the tournament this weekend.
Dude, so
but the best part, he was there and he threw his paddle on the side. I'm like, no, dude, like you got to chill.
I was like Phillip Rivers.
Exactly correct. That's my point, right? You cannot be that way when you play a competitive sport. You have to just roll with the punches. You
do. You got to keep a level head. Yep. Yeah,
you keep a level head, and you're good. It's okay. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be okay. And I think that's what I love about Justin Herbert more than anything is that he's that guy, right? He's just chill.
Never too high, never too low.
Exactly correct. And again, you cannot, you just have to keep a level head. Anyways, I don't have to go too much more. And exactly correct. That's exactly what killed us this game as well too.
And that's the one thing too, REM. If you are the band REM, by the way,
I like your music. Pretty solid stuff.
Listen, if you're the band REM, we have made it.
Yeah, we are there, guys. Well, and Weston Werbert is Justin Herbert.
That is Justin Herbert.
We have figured that out.
That's Justin Herbert.
That's his troll account. That's his troll account.
Yeah, we got Tom Telesco up in here too.
We got Lombardi up in here.
We got Lombardi up in here. He just
hey,
they're
listen to us.
They're trying to get free material from the Bull Bros. That ain't cool.
That is.
Send them checks. Cut
the check. Cut the check.
Lap dances. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
You got to give it to Ruby. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, but I was going to say is that, yes, one thing we need to be able to do is control these turnovers. It's killing us. And that's what killed this game for sure. So we need to play very sound, strong football. We need to get turnovers. We don't need to give up turnovers to them. So.
Yeah.
Indeed. Take the ball away and don't give it away.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I really felt like we lacked a lot of what's the word?
Effort.
Yeah. I don't know. It just felt like we were just kind of going through the motions.
There you go. Yeah,
it didn't feel like we were pushing very hard, which bothered me. But again, I can understand why players were feeling that way. You know?
Which lets me know they were just more trying to keep their rhythm and more so than win the game. They weren't necessarily worried about winning the game. They were more worried about keeping their rhythm going into the playoffs. They didn't want to take a week off and lose the rhythm that they had been building. So I think that's what it was.
That's right, man. I mean,
hey, good game, brother. Good game, Justin.
Hey, congrats, 101 touchdowns, first 3 years. Let's go.
There you go.
Hey, I'm gonna send you a jersey. You better sign it. I can't wait.
Oh, I got some rookie cards.
I got all this stuff.
No big deal.
Put your Justin Herbert on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, it is.
Well, guys, man, I think we've gone over a little bit over an hour here. Appreciate everything and chatting with you guys. Once again, on to the playoffs. Yeah. We're excited about this, guys. You got to be excited as a Chargers fan. I mean, this is an exciting time just for Justin Herbert. In my opinion, it was criminal that he was not in the playoffs last year.
Big time.
Yeah, that is not good for the NFL to have Herbert out of the playoffs. And the one thing is, though, I'm a big fan of Brandon Staley. I believe Andy's a very big fan of Brandon Staley. We got something building with this team with him. And I think it's insane to be able to even think about the offseason in this moment in time. We have a season ahead of us right now. We have the postseason right now in front of us. Let's keep going. Let's let this team build up and everything here too, man. And we got some exciting things going on with this team. Obviously, playoffs this upcoming week. It's going to be 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. Watch.
Oh,
It better not be. It better not be. I'll tell you what. I'll be so annoyed by that.
You keep saying it so it won't happen. Like you keep putting it out in the atmosphere so it won't happen. I hope that's what you. That's why that is.
We probably got good L on this chat somewhere here. You know, he's probably listening to these guys like, oh, what are these Bolt Bros? When do they want the game to play? No.
Right.
Yeah. And,
Sunday night. Let's play
Sunday
Sunday
night.
night.
Yeah, and we are going to be having a watch party, so we got to figure out where it's going to be. It's probably going to be backyards again. It's where it was today.
Scottsdale, yeah.
Scottsdale, so it should be fun. So, yeah, come check it out. But, yeah,
last thoughts or anything too, Andy?
Yeah, I just say this, guys. Like, look, at the end of the day, I think we're playing well. I mean, I think this game was just kind of a one-off. I think, you know, once we locked the fifth seed, what's the point, right? Everyone wanted to stay healthy, move forward. But, look, I'll say this. This is when the team needs to come together as a group, offense and defense, and say, let's get our shit together and bolt the F up, dude. Like, because my point is this, man. It don't matter after this. Every single team is 0. They're at 0.
Yep.
The record doesn't matter. The record don't matter at this point.
Throw it out the window.
Yep. Doesn't matter anymore. So at this point, I hope to God Williams is healthy. That's my only concern from this game so far.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, I think we're moving in with some good momentum. I'm hoping our coaching staff has some nice tricks up their sleeve. They learned something from the Jags game. Like I said, I really do believe we got to get physical with these guys. We cannot let these wide receivers run down the field. We need to play like we played against the Dolphins, right? Jam them at the line.
Yes, defensively.
Get physical.
Yeah, I need the defense from the Dolphins game, and I need the offense from last week.
Yep.
Put those two together. Those two together. They were good. Yeah.
That would be great.
Yes.
Last thoughts there, Coach.
Yeah, overall, to Andy's point, I think that he had hit the nail right on the head that we have definitely, staked our claim to Brandon Staley being a legitimate head coach. I think that this team could have ultimately truly fell apart when we had all those injuries midseason. We could have really went down in the tubes. I think he kept the group together. That, along with the veteran leadership that we have, kept the group together, and we started to pick things up right at the right time and get ourselves into the playoffs. And overall in the game, like you said, it's all or nothing. Like, ratchet up the intensity this week. We need to be able to play, sound football for 4 quarters, not have any lapses like we've had in the third quarters in some games where we can't seem to get the ball down the field and things of that nature. So if we can play good sound 4 quarter of football, I really like our chances. And,
agreed.
Overall, I think that, ultimately we just have to just stay within ourselves and don't beat ourselves. I think that's the biggest thing we need to do in regards to beating the Jags. Like you said, they're going to be nervous. They've never had any type of playoff experience across the board, and we've had plenty in our locker room. So I think that gives us an edge. But you got to go on the road, so it's always hostile environment, things of that nature. But I do like our chances, assuming that we are locked in and understand what's at stake.
Agreed, man. Yeah, I'm excited about it, man. I mean, we got Nico over here saying he's nervous for next week. All these different things, but look. Hey, what do we say? No flinch. That's what Brandon Staley says. No flinch.
No flinch. All in, baby.
Yep, we're going in, man, and I'm excited about this week. I'm going to be probably wearing a Chargers jersey, T-shirt, hat every single day of this week.
Every day, that's right.
Yeah, every day. And once again, hey, this jersey, we swapped these jerseys, same jersey but different sizing, and we've won the game every single time we won or wore it watching the game. Outside of today, we were like, oh, maybe we shouldn't wear these anymore. And they're like, well, you wore those on important games, and we won those important games. So he's like, keep wearing it. So maybe we'll wear it again next week, and maybe the good luck continues to roll. So, but we're excited, guys. We're excited about what's going on this weekend. We're excited that the playoffs are here. We are in the playoffs. Excited to be able to see this game. But we're gonna have a lot of content coming out this week. Hopefully, we'll be able to have a pregame show with UCF Jag. Love to be able to see that episode, and it's going to be exciting. I definitely need to watch the All In episode, by the way, too, that came out.
Yeah, I did watch it as well.
Too. So, but once again, guys, appreciate Coach Defense joining on here. Hey, you want to do your kind of say how to connect with you, see your podcast once again before we get out of here?
Yeah, on social media, on Twitter, I'm on Lockdown Defense. Instagram on Lockdown Defense Sports. Podcast is Lockdown Defense Podcast. And all you do is type that in YouTube. It'll pop up for you. Like, comment, subscribe. Tuesdays, we do a live show at 9 o'clock. Wild Wild West Podcast at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. And the 30-minute Lockdown show debuts this Thursday, coming out this Thursday, brand new show for the podcast. So check that out. And it'll be a 30-minute show each and every week, bringing down any and every hot NBA and NFL topic. So stay tuned for that.
Love it, man.
Yep.
So that's what it's all about, man. But appreciate it once again. We're the
Not a
Bold
problem.
Bros, guys. Love having you on here, Coach, man. Like always, we'll keep
Appreciate you
talking
guys.
like we always do, man. Appreciate it,
Indeed.
guys. All right, guys. We out. Bold Bros, we out. Let's roll.